Hi, I'm Bob Huckabone. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to take a trip to Oneida Lake, to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Walleye Hatchery. I don't know if you're aware of it, but this is the biggest walleye hatchery in the United States. They turn out 300 million, or they start out anyway, with 300 million eggs and wind up with millions at the end of the process. We went up there for the taking of the eggs. Takes place for about 1 week each year, and we were fortunate enough to be there to watch it. Well, first off, perhaps we should tell you where we went. This is not a real clear map, took it off the internet, but this is where we visited. It's the hatchery in Constantia. You see the star there. It's just off Interstate 81, I don't know, 8-10 miles off Interstate 81 in Constantia. It's on Route 49. It's right on the edge of Oneida Lake on what's called Scribe Creek. And it's quite an operation. I'll show you a little bit of the hatchery from the time we arrived there. And well, here's a refreshment stand that's operated by the Snowmobile Club of the North Country. And here's the outside of the building. This is in Constantia, New York, the Oneida Fish Cultural Station, where they breed walleyes. It's, as I said, the biggest hatchery in the United States. Now, we should be able to take you inside. So here we are now in the lobby of the hatchery. And they have a lot of mounted fish in the lobby, all around the walls there. And they had video going on the spawning of the walleye. You see some of the fish, the mounted fish in the wall. They also, see if we see it in just a moment, they have an aquarium with various kinds of fish. We'll take a look at that. Here it is. That little guy right there is a lake sturgeon. And behind that, I believe, is a fish called a burbot. And of course, there's a crappie in there also. Okay, a little pumpkin seed. And there's some walleyes. This is the tank in the lobby of the hatchery. If you're just tuning in, we're visiting the Oneida Lake Fish Hatchery. And there's Al Zaleski. Al is going to be our guide, and we'll get to our tour in just a moment. Well, we're visiting the Walleye Hatchery at Constantia, New York. It's on Scribe Creek. They net the walleyes in Oneida Lake. They've got 100-foot nets out there, and they bring them in boats. Use a crane, bring them up into the hatchery, wheel them down. The crew working today is the people from the hatchery at Constantia, but also fisheries biologists from other hatcheries come in to help out for this 1 week when they take the eggs and sperm from the walleyes. What they're doing right now is separating them. And some of them, they had so many males, they're just throwing some of the males back.
Well, that's an overripe female, so they've got to strip those today or they're going to lose the eggs.
That's Al Zaleski.
Yeah, wow, you got some on your thumb.
There's a female.
They taste good. This is Mark Marbenzian. He's the manager of the hatchery.
Now what they're doing here is,
one tub,
there you go, Al.
The males will go into another tub and they sort them. If they're ripe or they're hard. If they're hard, they throw them in one tub. If they're soft and ready for stripping, they put them into another tub so they can strip them shortly after that, or they'll drop the eggs in the tub. It takes usually three males for each female. And this will go on until all fresh females are stripped, and then they start all over again the next morning. It's a vicious cycle, but that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, they're facing anyway, but they're having to turn around and back.
There's a couple of females ready to put them out of the tub.
They tell the males from the females. Female has 2 holes in it, and the males have 1. And I tell the kids that ask me how they tell the difference. I said, well, the female has the 2-holder, and the male is a 1-holder.
27, that's 45. 34
There's a couple of bass in there.
45,
Bullhead.
34. 9, 79.
79 males.
79 and 30.
A little showing off for the camera.
Wait, I always wanted to do this. Thank you for the Bassmasters trophy.
Well, you can see there are other fish in there besides walleye. Oh, here's some mud puppies. And here's a tank. There's a paddlefish. If you've never seen a paddlefish, they've got some paddlefish. One of the tanks at the hatchery. Got some burbot there. What else in there? There's a paddlefish again. Oh, there's some lake sturgeon back there.
These are the females.
Yeah, the females in one of the tanks. You hear the constant sound of the water running in the hatchery. Look at all those walleyes, huh? Here's a walleye that's got, some fishermen call them warts. I guess they're tumors of a type, they're harmless. But they say the fish get these in the wintertime, and then in the summer they disappear. And they also say there's no problem. You fillet them out, and you fillet out the fish, and there's no problem with them. So here's some more fish coming in from the lake. The hatchery is just, I'll bet it's not 200 yards from Oneida. They bring them in, and they continue this. They start early in the morning, and they just bring them in, bring them up on the crane, run them in, and sort them out then. Put the males in one tank and the females in the next tank. Then a little later on, they'll separate the females in the tank. We'll take a look in and see this operation once again. By the way, they don't mind you stopping in. They like to see visitors at the hatchery. They say this is this 1 week of the year when we were there is when there's the most activity. I guess other times you can watch a fish grow. You know? There's another load coming in. And after, at the end of the day, they'll let these fish back out and be back out in Oneida. Some beautiful walleyes, you know? And other kind of fish too. They come into the nets. And there are people walking along, see what's happening. I hear a fish in the tank. In just a moment, we're going to see some of the eggs. Al will tell us about it.
So now these are all a mixture then, Ed, is that right?
These are all ready for incubation now. It'll take about 22 to 25 days. These were just put in yesterday, so the first batch will be the first ones to hatch, the first ones to leave the premises.
Wow.
And as they hatch, they wiggle up to the surface. Takes 25 days to wiggle up to the surface. There's a little funnel in here. Okay? And gravity, just keep washing them down, then they'll go down into this sluice way here and wind up in the tank. Okay? It's just a big funnel like.
Oh, so they go down into that Down underneath, the pipe
Yeah.
underneath, huh?
This here, this hose is, it sits right on the bottom, and it's a round bottom, so there aren't any corners for the eggs to rot, catch in there. The water's circulating and always forces this up. Everything forces to this overflow. And as they hatch, they work up to this overflow and wash down into that trough and into the pen. You see the trough there? There you go. When they're hatched, they'll be about 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch long. And they just work up to the surface into the funnel down in there, and they must be removed in about 3 days after the egg sac is used up. Their food supply, and then they must get them out because the cannibals, they'll just eat each other. They're all one right after the other, then they move them out into the lake or put them in big tanks and take them elsewhere around the state, wherever they transport them. This is the beginning, so these will be the first ones to go.
How many little fish are in each one of these, Ed?
Well, you've got 3 quarts pudding here, and out of that 3 quarts, each quart has about 150,000 eggs. So you have about 400,000 plus eggs in each one of these vases, and we have 800 of them here on the premises, and our capacity is over 300 million eggs. They want to fill them all.
If you're just tuning in, we're visiting the Walleye Hatchery at Constantia on Oneida Lake, right on Scriber Creek, which leads into Oneida Lake. The stream actually runs through the hatchery. When they're done with these fish, they drop them into the stream, under the floor, and then they'll mark them and then let them loose at the end of the day. And here they're separating males from one side, females on the other. These guys are handling a lot of pounds of fish in a day. And they let people just wander around, watch what they're doing. Well, every now and then they put up a little barrier, but it's a nice place to visit. Look at all these walleyes. See if we can focus on them. There's thousands of them. I guess they go from here throughout the state. That is the little ones. I guess they put them in a tanker truck. They take water and all, take them out when they're ready. And look at all the tanks. These are all walleye tanks. There we go.
They just go to the surface and after a while.
Okay. There's a muskie that was in one of the tanks there. Nice big muskie. There's a bullhead next to it. There's a big bullhead. They've got several aquariums there where you can see the fish. Kids love it there. There's a big old carp. There's a bass. That's the son of the hatchery manager there, showing off this bass for the camera. A nice looking bass. There you go. That's the way to hold them up to the camera, huh?
Okay. Thanks.
This is an aquarium that's in the main hatchery area.
That looks like a pickerel, huh?
Gives you a chance to guess I see your knowledge of fish.
That looks like a muskie over there.
Well, is it a muskie or
What else we
a
got?
tiger muskie? Got some bass.
Largemouth. That looks like a muskie. No, that's a northern pike.
Well,
That's a northern.
I'll bet you.
There's another bass
Across.
back there. There's a pickerel. See the chain on him?
It's a great place to take your kids. You can see a lot of fish. And you can see that this aquarium is right on the main floor of the hatchery. There's a sheephead. You ever catch a sheephead? The Vanderbilt Snowmobile Club has each year, I guess, at this time,
How you
they
doing? Good. How are you?
sell refreshments,
Are you here very often?
raise money.
Nah, once in a while.
Yeah. This is a pretty good fundraiser for you?
Yeah.
Works out for us.
Does it?
Snow's
Anything we
all
can
gone.
get.
Wait, well, you're not here every week then?
We're here for the weekends while they're actually stripping the fish and stuff, but not every weekend. But it's a couple weekends a year.
I thought we'd better show you what Scriber Creek looks like. Here's a dam. The walleyes, I don't think, can go up any higher than the dam. But a lot of walleyes come in here to spawn. I don't know if you can see them. We didn't take polarizing filter along, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see the walleyes in the stream. There's one, if you can see it. And 1, 2, 3. There are a lot of them in there. But as we say, it was difficult to see the walleyes in the water. It was a cloudy day. When the sun would break through, you'd be able to see the walleyes spawning in there, but they're real difficult. You might be able to see there's 4 or 5 of them there. Okay. So, that gives you a picture of some of the spawning walleyes at Scriber Creek. So I guess we'll go back inside now. Okay, they've finished separating the males and females, and now in the process, they're separating the females. The ones that are going to the far end are the ones that are pretty well ready to let the eggs go. The ones that are coming at us, do a little splashing. Those are the ones that aren't quite ready yet. So here they are now. They'll move the screen down. And the ones that are, do you see that one? Do you see the size of that walleye? Wow. She wasn't ready today. They'll wait another day or so for her. Another shot, long shot of the hatchery. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Fish Hatchery, Walleye Hatchery, at Constantia, New York, which is on Oneida Lake, just off Interstate 81. Easy to get to. It's on Route 49. These are walleyes in the tanks. And the process that's taking place now is the separation. There's a crowd waiting up there. Crowd gathering. They're going to be doing some actual stripping of the fish here pretty soon. But you can see that right now they're still separating the females that are ready from the females that aren't. Which aren't, I guess. Look at the size of that one. Look at, and she's ready. I have an idea these guys are tired at the end of the day. that's the near the end of the process. You see the biologist on the left has the females, one on the right, as we're looking at them, has the males, and the one in the middle, of course, just stirring them up. He has a paintbrush on a long stick. His job is just to mix them together. So this will be the beginning of a new generation of walleyes here. As you can see, if you have an opportunity next spring to stop up and watch this process at the fish hatchery. They have an internet site, and they'll let you know on the internet site when they're stripping the eggs. So you can see they just rub the belly. And then you see they turn around and drop them down into the stream underneath them. They're sitting on a grate, and there's an opening into the stream, and they'll drop the fish in there, and then at the end of the day they'll mark them and take samples so they can study the fish, and then they'll turn the fish loose, and they'll go back down Scriber Creek and into Oneida Lake, and as Ed says, they may wind up in the nets again tomorrow. But that's the whole process. There you can see they drop the fish just behind them, and they go down into the chute. We didn't see the process, but at the end of the day, they'll take samples and study the fish. Yeah, just stir them up. These guys do a great job. Now you see the stream underneath there. That's it. You can see all the walleyes in there, or maybe you can't. There you can see them. Just loaded with walleyes. Yeah. And the stream goes underneath and out the door. I think we can give you another shot here looking out. Water goes underneath and comes out right there. And that is into Scriber Creek. And that's that whole walleye process. Well, that was our trip to Oneida Lake, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Walleye Hatchery at Constantia, New York. I can show you again where it is. This map, as I say, came off the internet, and you can see the star, and that's where Constantia is. It's real easy to get to off Interstate 81. We hope you've enjoyed our get-together today, and hope we'll get together in the future. Thanks for watching.